And when you meet our staff, you will see the passion and dedication that they put into their lessons and into supporting our students. And that development of our students is not only within the classroom environment. What we do really, really well at Abbey College Cambridge is providing enrichment activities. There are academic enrichment activities and personal development enrichment activities. And this is just give you just very, very short examples. We want students to maximize their time in Cambridge. We are in the city that is world known for the University of Cambridge, one of the best universities in the world, and with a high caliber of researchers, university professors, politicians, writers, startup founders, and our students attend University of Lectures 3 to 4 times a week. And why I'm saying this is because I want you to understand that coming to Abbey College Cambridge, you will be exposed to direct conversation with these people. And you will be part of the most important, the latest conversations, not only in Cambridge, but in the world. And our students from year 9 to year 13, they all sit in those lecture theatres in the evenings, participating. We also bring highly accomplished people to our community who love interacting with our students. And that is a testament to our students and staff and parents who do care about education. And then these highly inspired people and highly accomplished people, they can recognize that our students ask insightful questions, that they are well educated, they are strong communicators, they are inquisitive, and they are an absolute pleasure to be around. So as I said, if you want to come and visit us, and actually more importantly, if you want to join us to be our students, please do so. Now I will pass on to Vice Principal Academic and Vice Principal Pastoral and Assistant Principal Pastoral. So these 3 members of our senior leadership team will talk in greater detail about our pastoral and academic provision.
Okay, so good morning, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today, and hopefully that you can learn a little bit more about what Abbey College Cambridge is all about. So moving on. So we very much talk about community here at Abbey College. It comes in the sense of a community energized by the love of learning, but also it's a community where young people can grow and develop personally, where they feel safe and secure to have a go and to take risks. And that all adds to their personal development and their development as strong learners and global citizens of the future. So our community starts with our house system, of which we're extremely proud and has been now for 10 years, and has had a way of adding an identity for all the students. So within your house community, you will have a tutor group, no more than 14 students, because we feel that that will then is a good enough number to actually have personal contact with each and every one of our students every day, and that the tutor and the tutees really, really get to know each other. They can support the tutees with their academic, they can talk to them, they can talk about their personal development, they can encourage them to join in many of the activities that you're going to hear from Andy in terms of the Cambridge lectures that we promote. And obviously, if you've just seen from Ellen the slides of our In Conversation With. As part of the tutor group, you're also part of a year group and you're part of the school. And our parents also are very much part of our parental group as well, because we know how much you're entrusting your child to us, and we want to work with you in partnership to make sure that your child achieves their aspirations of a top 5 or an Oxbridge place or a medical place, whatever their dream is to be. So moving on. So It is very much about being a community. And a few years ago, I was reading an article in a journal, excuse me, where the diagram on the right, for those in the know, is DNA, was given as an example, excuse me so much, about how the pastoral and the academic need to interlink to develop the whole DNA strand. Without those cross links, if you can be the most academic person, you can keep getting grades. But what are you doing for your well-being? How good are you able to communicate? It's that sort of pastoral personal side that you also need to develop as well. And I thought it was quite a good analogy, and sort of being a scientist, that sort of appealed to me very much. So how do we achieve that link between the academic and the pastoral? So I've already mentioned the personal tutor. For those of you who maybe are thinking of boarding, we have house parents who are like boarding tutors. And there is a great interaction between the school tutor and the boarding tutor, so that there is 24/7 care for your young person. Leading the house in school is the housemaster, and in boarding, there's a head of house. So again, we've got that 360 overview, academic, personal development, and boarding. 24/7, your child will be fully supported. There are students we know who need other ways to access the curriculum. They may have learning needs. So we have a very strong SEND department. And sometimes we do know that the wheels do come off, and we all need a little bit of help getting those wheels back on before we can carry on with our journey. And so we do have a team of counsellors and mentors to help the students when those times come. And also supporting the students is Alison, who you'll hear from later, and myself. So moving on. So well-being is very important to the personal development of the students and to them being successful academically. And so I'm now going to hand over to Alison to talk a little bit about our 6 pillars of well-being.
So yes, thank you very much, Carolyn. So obviously, wellbeing is an increasingly important focus over the last few years, and true balance means we want to recognise all of these aspects of our daily life, and they shape our wellbeing, and we want to help to build strategies to handle challenges, to ensure our young people grow in confidence, they become resilient and compassionate adults. So you can see here are 6 key areas that we are addressing and have highlighted. I am not going to talk through all of them because there's an awful lot in there. However, I would, if that's okay, just pick out a few key ones. Now, Andy will be talking to you a lot about the academic areas a bit later. But within that, we've got 2 very new and exciting initiatives this year. We have got the peer mentoring and the coaching. So the peer mentoring has come about. We have got some fantastic students who've been nominated by the heads of departments. They've been trained. They know how to do this. They meet with students for 30 minutes once a week to have conversations, to help them with their studies, to help them with personal matters. And this programme runs for 6 weeks, and it's continually reviewed and overseen by some housemasters. The coaching programme is also very exciting. It's led by a housemaster. It's a small group of students who are nominated by their teachers or housemasters or tutors, and their aim is to help to identify goals, understand what's limiting progress towards their goals, and to help to give them some extra skills to overcome the hurdles. We've seen great success with this programme, some feedback from some of the students that they saw better study habits, and we saw it through academic success, increased confidence and ability to cope, students keeping on top of their work in private. They could also do this work in their native language, so nobody sees their comments or anything like this. What you're going to see as I'm talking, as John's scrolling through, is some reflective comments. These come through this app, which is called Me Move. We've introduced this as a new thing this year, where people are asked to reflect on their activities that take place during the week, and you can see some of the key titles here. We've got a general weekly reflection here on how things went, and a leadership event. So leadership is something I'm going to come back to in a little bit, but that again is helping to prepare a future ready student. Within the technological aspect of well-being, I would like to just highlight that we have a mobile phone policy. Now, if you do come for a virtual tour or actually make it into our college, you'll see some posters up and around saying mobile free zone. So these are designated device-free zones, and we're hoping to promote student interactions. If you're in year 9 to 11, you will hand your phone in at the start of the day, but don't panic. If you need to contact home or someone from home needs to contact you, they can do this through reception or your tutor. Year 12s and 13, so our sixth form, are permitted theirs, but they have to hand them in at the start of a lesson. And we want to make sure we have got good technological use and hygiene. And if necessary, we're going to educate you as well, whether that's through handing your phones in at curfew in boarding to help you with your sleep hygiene, or whether it's to help to educate you against falling for cyber scams or fake news, all those sorts of things through our comprehensive PSHE programme. Our future wellbeing, we're preparing you. We've got a comprehensive careers programme. We have talked about our lecture series, and Andy will talk a little bit more about UCAS as well. And then we've got global as well. Global wellbeing. So our young people are deeply aware of these global challenges, from climate change and poverty to conflict around the world. So we are helping to broaden our horizons. We're doing projects for the Model UN. We have a global citizenship conference. We do exchange programs. We're preparing you to be a global citizen as well. And then, of course, we've got physical and emotional. Physical exercise, obviously vital for both your body and mind, but we can overlook it. So we do encourage the Me Move. You've seen these reflections coming up. They're not just about the physical. They are about all the things that we are doing day to day as well. But very excitingly, our enrichment and sport provision that Carolyn will speak to you a bit more about in a second. Here are some reflections about some of the activities that do go on, but they are very much enjoyed by our students. And then finally, all of that feeding in, this Me Move reflection helps to build your emotional well-being. You are reflecting, you are seeing how this has impacted on you in your everyday life. I'm going to hand over to Carolyn now again.
Okay, so thank you very much, Alison. So if you're thinking of joining us as a day student, it doesn't mean that you are exempt from being part of the community. You're very, very much involved in that community. And so we understand sometimes that for parents, it may be difficult to drop your child off for school at the start of the day. So we have a before school care. We are a boarding school. That's an advantage because our children are here. We physically open the doors at 7. So if 7 is when you need to drop your child off, then they can come into school. They can have breakfast. Maybe they can get on with some work. Maybe they can socialize with their friends. And also at the other end of the day, we also have after school care for the same reasons. We appreciate that parents have very busy lives and sometimes can't often get there to pick their son or daughter up. And after school, also we have prep, which if you are a day student, you can still join, which runs between 6:30 and 7:30 on a Monday to Thursday. Also, to help support you as parents, you know, if you do need finding it difficult to get your son and daughter in during the week, or maybe there are personal commitments that you need to look at, we do offer flexi boarding as well. So that means that you can come and board with us Monday to Thursday, or maybe Monday to Wednesday, whatever, and then go home at the weekends. And so as part of that as well, we have lots of clubs that run both after school and the weekend. Our boarding team are fantastic. We've got sport, we've got debating, we've got craft making. There is literally a club for everyone. And if a child wants to start up their own club, we will support them to do that. And this year, a group of students have started their own cheerleading club, and we've supported them along the way with that. But again, just because you are a day student doesn't mean you have to go home at the end of the day. You can stay and participate in the events, or you can come in and join the weekend basketball coaching if that's what you'd like to do. And we do have a range of sports that we offer, such as football. We have competitive football. We also have relaxation football. Same with badminton. There's competitive badminton. We have a member of the boarding team who's represented their own country in playing badminton, and they coach our youngsters. We also offer other alternative sports provision as well, such as kickboxing, boxing, rowing with the Cambridge University through our enrichment programme. We also have swimming. Our students this year are taking part in the Independent Schools Association swimming competition, so we're quite excited to see how they do for that. And for our younger students, we run football, we run netball, and we play competitively against local schools. So we do have a lot of sports provision here, which can be dipped into if students wish to do so. We also want to get our young people out and about and experience culture. So we have a range of trips and visits. We've just come back from a cultural experience in Greece, where we took 17 students for a tour around the ancient sites of Greece. And at half term in February, we're going to Iceland, so they can understand, the sort of rather different place that they're probably used to, and have a look around some of the geological wonders of Iceland. And for our under 16 students, we have the Young Explorers UK. So every Saturday morning, we want to broaden the horizons. We want to get them working together. We want to get them talking to each other, and to develop some curiosity and understanding for those international students of what life's like here in the UK. So we've started off this term looking and exploring the local area. We've taken them to the Cambridge colleges, so they've had a tour of the Cambridge colleges. They've gone on a punting cruise down the River Cam, going down the backs behind all the colleges. We've taken them on a sort of team building and sort of fun event with their ice skating. They've been helping out at the Mill Hill Winter Fair and experiencing the sort of local sort of area. I think the dragon boat race as well that happens here. So they're getting to understand some of the cultures and traditions of the UK, as well as getting to know each other. And we have parents events as well. As a parent, we have our termly parent tutor meeting, a sort of parents' evening. If you are a local parent, then obviously we have events in school. We have music concerts termly to which parents are involved. And obviously, when opportunity is available, you can come and support your son or daughter at sports day, or as they're playing in a match or a competition. And we do encourage parents to come into school as well and get to network with one another at our coffee mornings and our afternoon tea events. So moving on. So just in case any of you are thinking about boarding or possibly flexi boarding, these are our boarding houses. Abbey House, which you can see in the bottom left, the rather colourful building, which Ellen showed you earlier, is our junior house. And then going clockwise is age-appropriate housing for the students. And with that becomes a little bit more independence with each step that they make. So the three houses at the top all have their own cooking facilities. They can prepare their meals, they can sit together, they can have their friends round and have a nice sort of time socialising there. All of the rooms in all of the houses that you see are single ensuite rooms, which makes us different from many boarding schools. But also we do offer twin rooms as well. And that's something to ask about if you're interested. And then finally, as we move to the sort of final photographs, that's where we look at our more semi-independent students, usually our sort of 17, 18-year-olds whose next step is going to be university. So that's the accommodation that we have on offer. Please ask if you need to know any more. So Alison mentioned enrichment as one of our pillars of well-being, and this is something that we want our students to think beyond their subjects, to think more widely, to become confident. We want them to be asking challenging questions when Ellen takes them to the Cambridge University lectures. We want them to be curious, not just accept things on face, but to actually start to dig down. We want them to be the initiative takers, to be proactive and to challenge themselves and challenge others. And so our enrichment programme, which runs every Wednesday afternoon, students are able to choose from one of the categories for their particular enrichment. So it's already mentioned, we have the active sports with things like rowing and football, netball, those sorts of areas. But also we have our thinking enrichment, which will be masterclasses in maths and chemistry and physics, biology, helping to prepare them for the Olympiads that are run by professional organisations and which our students do extremely well at. We also have community as well. So that can be our volunteering programme. It can be working on our sort of social media team and our marketing team. And then we have music as well. So there's an awful lot of enrichment activities. We're getting on for nearly 50 activities that they can choose from. And we're constantly working with the students to know how we can make our enrichment and our club programme even better. And I think that's one thing at Abbey College that you'll notice is that student voice is important to us. And we want to work with our young people to make sure we're giving them the right experience. Next slide, please. Okay, so we've just arranged there of some of the activities that we have going on within the college, both during the day and during boarding as well. Next slide, please. So finally, we've talked a little bit about global community. We are very much about working across all areas, about giving something of our time to our community, whether that's here in Cambridge, volunteering at local primary schools, working with the elderly, working in charity shops. We do a lot of charity fundraising as well, raising money for cancer charities, mental health awareness. We also run a Duke of Edinburgh award scheme as well. We have students participating at all levels, bronze, silver and gold. And we also want to look at sort of cultural awareness. So we have our Welcome to the UK event at the start of the year. But throughout the year, we look at opportunities to engage with every community within our school. So whether that's celebrating Ramadan, celebrating Christmas, Lunar New Year, working with our students on Black History Month, we really want our young people to be global citizens and to be good representatives of the school. And finally, from me, we really value student leadership at all levels. So I think what we want to remind ourselves of is that leadership is more than just a title here. You get a badge to say you're a member of the student leadership team. You get a badge to say you're a wellbeing ambassador. But leadership is more than that. And this is what we try and instill in our young people. It's somebody who can inspire us. It's somebody who can make a change. It's about being yourself. If there's something where you see a friend in distress, it's stepping in and helping them. It's taking leadership of your own learning and going off to all the clubs and events that are happening. And to talk to you a little bit more about that, I'm going to hand over to Alison.
I will keep this very brief, don't worry. So just a reminder that every student that chooses to come to Abbey College is a leader. They have led from the moment they made that decision and arrived at our college. So then we want to help you to develop those personal and social skills, to become academic and future ready, and to help to create this positive school environment. And to help with all of those things, we have all of these leadership opportunities. And when you come to visit Abbey College, or when you join us at induction, you will meet the orientation leaders who will help you with your induction. You might choose to become a student council member who helps to feed into things that happen in the school. Maybe you're somebody who likes to organise things, so you could become a prefect, or maybe a sustainability leader because you're passionate about recycling. Or maybe mental health and well-being is something that you are really interested in, and you become one of our well-being leaders. Or equally, maybe you just get really into the house spirit and you want to help to organise house events and really get involved in things like sports day or new age games or archery, whatever it happens to be that we're running at the time. So we have so many opportunities for you to develop these skills and become future ready. And I will hand over at this point to Andy, who's going to talk about academics.
Brilliant. Thank you, Alison and Carolyn. So, hello. In this section of the talk, I will focus on academic life here at the college. My role is to ensure academic quality meets all of our expectations in the classroom, when addressing our young people, and when shepherding them toward their next steps, be it university or the world of work. It's my job to ensure that our curriculum, their experience in the college, prepares them. And I'd like to talk you through some of that work. All of this work starts at the vision, shaping our ethos, our atmosphere. You will find pupils relaxed and at ease in their environment and in their interaction with our teaching staff. You'll find students that are intrinsically motivated. Their drive genuinely does come from within. This leaves us as staff to act as Sherpas, the experienced and supportive guides. Ultimately, the destination is up to them to decide upon their own personal Everest. For us here at the college, exam grades are too low a target. The curriculum, after all, is not the purpose, but the means through which we aim to promote personal growth and the fulfillment of potential. We believe very strongly that relationships are the key to what we do here, and the best teachers don't teach subjects, they teach people. Moving on. And in the classroom, teaching people means that what we do here is not a spectator sport. Pupils cannot be passive. Learning must be something in which we all engage. At the heart of it, pupils must decide to think, talk, discuss, and collaborate. Moving on. At Abbey, there is a passion for what you see and what happens in the classroom. This is an easy statement for me to make sitting here right now, but what might you see when you walk around the school? You'll see lessons starting with immediate thinking, lessons starting with a question and ending with an answer, lessons starting with an answer and ending with a question. You'll see 100% digital curriculum delivery, but also pens and paper at times when it is appropriate. As with this picture, you'll see focused one-to-one work. Olga there, busy in the art studio. But you also see group work and discussion in the class or in the lab. You'll see progress being checked over and over again. Teachers working and reading the room well. Misunderstandings and errors not being ignored. You'll see praise, academic intent, quiet reflection, smiling pupils and smiling teachers. And for us here at Abbey, education is not formulaic. It is a human endeavor, and our approach varies just as much as the students in the room do, coming as they are from nearly 50 countries all over the world. Now, how do we know this? Because it's our job. It's my job. And I've watched hundreds of lessons here in the college, and I know this to be Abbey learning. Moving on. One of the most important jobs that I have is to keep an eye on the progress of every pupil. And teachers regularly review and feed back to their students through our reporting process, but also more frequently through day-to-day communication, through one-to-one and group discussion in class, written and oral feedback on work completed both in the classroom and for homework. And when we mark work, we provide suggestions on what to do next time. So we will have an expectation, a firm and clear expectation, that students will respond to that feedback. An emphasis on students to do something with it and focus on how to develop and progress. And what we measure, we improve. So we will regularly ask students to consider their current aims in each subject, noting how they will develop their skills and their understanding in each subject area. We encourage our students to engage in building an understanding of how learning happens, to build their study skills through a dedicated program, and to track their own success through what we call My Progress. We regularly assess our students in formal examinations, one series of examinations per term, and not only does this acclimatize our students to exam pressures, it provides essential feedback on progress for all. Perhaps most importantly, giving insights in how pupils can do more in their subjects. I carefully analyze grades, and this more mathematical analysis does not happen in a vacuum. And I always do this in communication with those that know each pupil best, their housemasters. And this ensures that we have a complete picture of each child, and we communicate with you, our parents and agents, in a timely fashion through termly personal tutor meetings. Moving on. And where there are concerns with understanding, progress, or behavior, being a small school is a massive advantage. Teachers can have conversations immediately with tutors, housemasters, with myself, and of course, parents and agents, the moment the behavior, whatever it is, becomes an issue. And we have a range of academic interventions. You can see some of them on the screen. But whatever the method, support starts with the student championing their own learning. And so all students have access to what we call ACC, Abbey College Cambridge, supporting learning in each of their Microsoft OneNote folders. This scaffolded support is really important to us, and it allows students to digest curated materials on the topic that they are finding challenging. And this might be in the form of alternative notes or perspectives, video clips, self-marking question banks, or other resources which empower students to develop independence and resilience before turning to the teacher. We want students to have agency in their learning. And this range of interventions means that we are confident all learners are supported in their academic endeavours, to help them do their best and to ensure they reach their potential. In larger schools, it's all too easy for pupils to become just another name and number on a spreadsheet, and for them to receive generic support from someone who does not really know them. At Abbey, we are a close-knit community. We know our young people, and our teachers know what works best for each individual. This approach has helped us to be recognised as one of the best schools in the country for added value at A-level, based on progress from GCSE results. And we are very proud of that. Moving on. And whilst education at Abbey does result in some fabulous GCSE and A-level results, especially when considering that we are not a selective school based on academic entry, and that almost all of our students have English as a second language, which makes these exam results look even better. But education at Abbey is not just measured in examination results. In the same way as no one person should ever be defined by those grades, we are preparing our students through all of their experiences at Abbey, as you've already heard this morning, for their later lives and careers. For almost every child at Abbey College Cambridge, the next step is university. And we are fairly unique in that regard, but careers education is broad and begins in year 9, helping shape journeys, no matter where they take our young people. So the question is, what makes life at Abbey different? We aim to instill a love of learning in all of our pupils and support them in increasing their curiosity in the world around them, finding their passions and encouraging academic ambition to go beyond seeing academic success as examination grades, but instead seeing the knowledge gained through hard work as being itself innately good and beneficial. This is what any good school should do. So we aim to go further, and we'll explore 4 of our programs here before finishing. Starting with Abbey Inspires. Now, we provide opportunities every single week for our pupils to explore fields of academic interest in the University of Cambridge. You've heard about that already. Engaging with leading minds in the field, questioning and challenging at every turn. And this is what makes this program so successful, that our students are not a passive audience, passengers on a train. They are engaged, they are driving. And as you'll see from every picture on this slide and the next, you'll see that it is our students always asking the questions, always challenging what they're hearing, deepening their understanding of what's going on in the world around them. And as you can see in the top right of that image from our youngest, this is Gaspar in year 9, to some of our eldest students, we do this all the way throughout our program. And Abbey Inspires is designed to provide the spark, the academic spark. Some of our students know exactly what they want to do with their careers, or believe they do, and some of them do not. And by exposing them to a broad range of Abbey ideas, Abbey Inspires enables them to find that thing that they wish to pursue, perhaps for the rest of their lives. And moving on, where Abbey Inspires provides that broad range, the pre-degree diploma provides academic depth. That is its purpose. Studying outside of the curriculum in year 12. So all of our A-level students will take part in the pre-degree diploma, and its job is to take that spark of interest that the students have found through Abbey Inspires and really build on that, to demonstrate their love and their passion for this subject, and to build deep, meaningful knowledge that will help them stand out in the incredibly competitive world of university applications and craft not only a competitive but a compelling personal statement, and to be able to hold interesting conversation when they get to an interview. Because of course, for some students, this work is still not enough. And so we move on to our 3rd program, our Oxbridge candidate program. We are an ambitious school full of ambitious students, and we're ambitious for them. So to further build on their knowledge and their preparedness for Oxbridge, we have a significant program that runs throughout both year 12 and year 13, building knowledge over a 12-week program alongside their pre-degree diploma, supporting, deepening and furthering that understanding in that specialist subject area, as well as building their readiness for admissions testing and interviews, in programs that will run from both year 12 and year 13, because we recognize that it is not possible to prepare our students for an interview in just a few weeks when they find out that they've got an interview in December for Cambridge or for Oxford. So we actively build their readiness through year 12 across a 6 to 8 month program to ensure that they are ready for what comes next. Now, where Oxbridge is, of course, incredibly competitive, arguably still more competitive is medicine. And our medicine preparation program is something that we are incredibly proud of. At Abbey College, Cambridge, we genuinely believe we are a centre for excellence in medicine. And over the last 5 years, our wonderfully experienced and knowledgeable head of medicine has developed a program that oversees around about 6 hours of additional work every single week throughout year 12 and year 13, which has resulted in our students having a near 100% success rate over the last 5 years. It's about 97%. And last year in 2025 was the second time in 5 years where we've had 100% success. And students having multiple offers to move on and study at medicine. And as we know from the field, the number of places for international medicine students shrinks near yearly. And it is incredibly, fiercely competitive. So for us, year after year after year, to have another record-breaking year of more medicine offers only goes to show the strength of this program. And last year, a record-breaking year again with 26 medicine offers. So we're incredibly proud of that. And we do believe that if you or your student, your child is interested in medicine, Abbey College Cambridge is absolutely the place to be for that. Thank you very much for that. And I think we'll hand back to John now.
Thank you, Andy, and thank you, Alison, Carolyn, and Ellen for that really good overview of academics, pastoral, and boarding. We do have the option, guys, if anyone has any questions for any member of the team about any aspect of studying and living at Abbey College, Cambridge, you can ask them now and our team will answer them. We did have a couple of pre-registration questions, which I think I'll put to the team as well, just to give you some time to formulate your thoughts. One of the, I think it was a parent who asked us, looking for their child, about the transition from studying in one country to studying in the UK. Kind of what are the steps that we take to facilitate that both academically and pastorally? I guess at the start of the year, and obviously we've got an entry in January and entry in September. So what are those kind of steps that we take pastorally just to help students transition from, you know, the education system, but also the culture in their own country into the UK?
So like if you want to sort of share as well, Alison. So yeah, I mean, there's work goes on before the student arrives. So before the student arrives, there's contact from both the housemaster and there is a webinar as well that students and parents can join, where they can meet both the housemaster and the head of house, just get to see a familiar face, ask those questions. What do I need to bring? Will I have towels in my room? You know, where's my room going to be? And so that's the first step that we have. There's a lot of information on our portal as well, about how to make the arrangements to arrive here. So right from the very start, you're taken through the whole journey, whether that's the admissions team, the accommodations team, and then onto the pastoral team. We have a very well managed induction program that our principal leads, which is very much about students working together, getting to know each other, learning to talk to one another. And they are really thrown in at the deep end with a range of activities, from making their own trash and show to designing their own mug to doing, you know, sort of all sorts of weird and wonderful things. But again, it's all about breaking down those barriers. And for students who have learning needs, sort of SEND needs, again, myself and my assistant Senko will be in touch early on so that we can look at all the information that you may have on your son or daughter, so that we can share that with the staff in terms of how to actually teach them in class and what's going to work for them, and also to get to know the child as well. So there's a lot that sort of goes on to ensure that transition is smooth and that everyone feels very much welcomed in the building.
Thank you, Carolyn. That's great. Andy, on the academic side of things, obviously, I guess the transition from one educational system into another, you know, that's an area where people have concerns. So what do we do at the sort of the start point just to help students transition, or even, you know, perhaps before they join us?
Yeah, absolutely, John. The work does definitely begin before they join us. And in many cases, students are applying and interviewing up to a year in advance. And this gives both us and them a huge amount of time to work with and streamline what's going on. Generally speaking, when we receive the applications, we'll also understand from transcripts and reports from schools exactly what's being studied to what degree. And whilst that gives us a fabulous idea of where a student is at right now, it's not necessarily the whole picture. And as I'm sure everyone on the chat is aware, there is a significant variation in education systems across the world. So once students join us, the first thing that we do is a soft and gentle battery of tests and exams to understand exactly what a student knows right now, depending on wherever in the world that they happen to have come from. And that really gives us the most up-to-date picture of understanding in the context of what they need to know for their program here with us in the UK. And from there, we work on filling the gaps and closing any skill gaps as well that we need to address. So that's where we kind of close that. And where there are significant differences, we obviously have that range of academic interventions that I ran through that enable us to close some of those gaps, enabling us to be fairly flexible in accepting students from all over the world and pretty much all systems.
Thank you, Andy. That's great. We had one more question, and I know this is maybe for Alison to kind of, you know, to answer, but we had a question about the distractions of the modern world, and obviously we talked a little bit about, you know, mobile phones and obviously how we use technology. So I suppose there's a balancing act here, but in terms of students on their phones or maybe gaming, how do we manage those pressures and those distractions that could maybe, you know, affect their studies?
Yeah, thank you, John. So as I mentioned previously, we do have policies in place for the use of mobile phones. Now, obviously, we do work on devices in lessons. We are online, we are digital, but we do carefully monitor their use. Mobile phones being handed in has really helped with student interactions in the dining room during the day. It's been lovely to see. And then if they do happen to have some issues with gaming in the evening, our house parents are well trained in checking to see what they're up to. We can monitor their hours of use. We do sometimes have checks on their phones as well. And if necessary, at curfew, we have been removing devices to help students with their sleep hygiene. Very important, because some of them, as we know, may like to game into the small hours of the morning, and that's not brilliant for their academic progress nor their mental health and well-being. So we can help to monitor that, and we also help to educate them through our PSHE programme about the use of technology that's appropriate through that. Carolyn, is there anything you'd like to add?
No, as I say, Alison summarised it really well there. I mean, we do monitor it. We also have a very secure filter and web system so that we can restrict the content that the students are able to access as well. So they are safe within the building when we are online. So that's something else that we do to make sure that the young people are using their devices sensibly and wisely.
Excellent. Thank you, guys. I see we haven't really had any other questions, so I presume we've answered every question that everyone has very comprehensively. So that's great. There is still time to post them, but what we will do post-event, we will follow up. We will share the slides from today. We will share a recording so you can watch that at your leisure. And also a member of our admissions team will be in touch. So if you're a student or a parent of a prospective student, they will be able to advise in terms of the next steps. And obviously you can ask any questions to them and they'll be able to put that to the team. And obviously if you're an agent as well, we'll be able to provide more information and support you with your students. So don't worry if you haven't thought of any questions and one pops into your head. We'll be able to answer those post-event. But I think what we'll do, in the absence of any more questions, I'll let everyone sign off, and we'll let you get on with your day. So thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.